Hi there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for what your Akashic Records want to tell you to do with 2021. So this video is going to be relative whenever you watch it, either before 2021 or any time during 2021. I've also had the intention with it that you can come back to this video many times over that time period, and essentially you'll find something different because you might get drawn to a different pile or anything like that. So just before we go further, I just wanted to do a really quick thing to do with bits of astrology that are standing out, because as soon as I start to even think about connecting into your Akashic Records, there's a number of things that flag up or to do with your astrology and thinking about it and stuff like that. So obviously one of the really big things about 2021 for everybody is Uranus square Saturn. Now I'm not going to go into that too much, but I just want you to know that Saturn and Jupiter are in this important house, your 8th house, in 2021. This is all about death and rebirth. It's about inheritance. It's about inheritance on all of its levels, very much as well. You want to think on a really deep level, like a DNA level, like an ancestral pattern level, and kind of like it's topics when you start to go into things like epigenetics, but the concept that essentially you don't just inherit brown eyes from, let's say, your mom, you can also inherit memories that your mom's had or even your grandmother has had, and then they play along in your belief systems. And then that leads me nicely into the fact that you have Neptune in your 9th house in 2021. Neptune in the 9th house is going to be around belief systems again, and I really feel like this is going to be a progression. Like Pluto in your 8th Jupiter and Saturn in your 8th is going to be kind of like dislodging things, bringing things into your awareness that are deeply embedded in your unconscious. And then Neptune in the house next to it, the 9th house, is really going to be looking into where you have false beliefs or illusions to do with who you are, what you are, where you come from. And you'll start to disregard things that you have inherited, let's say on an energetic and emotional and a mental level, that no longer serve you. And I can really feel like that's going to be quite a big process. I do feel like you'll have been going through this anyway in 2020, but I just feel in some way it's just going to get amplified a bit more in 2021. And just also be mindful as well, things are going to go off to do with groups and communities and your friendships and how you find your own tribe. And I've got a feeling that the more that you disregard belief systems that you've inherited that are no longer in alignment with you, the more you're going to start attracting your soul tribe, your soul family. But just be mindful that because Uranus is in that 11th house, which is all those soul connections and sort of communities and tribes, etc., there'll be some twists and turns with that. And it's definitely, I know Cancer, you love to feel like stable, emotionally safe, comfortable, all of these kind of things. You like to be in a nurturing environment. But just be mindful that it's totally okay if things become unpredictable to do with friendship groups. And actually this has all got a higher purpose for you, and it will help you get to where you really want to go to do with other areas of your life. So just basically allow that process to happen. Now this is the amazing bit, because you Cancer are so intuitive and like really, really in tune with cosmic timings. I do feel like the more that you can tap into that innate wisdom that you have about timings in your life, the less you will feel disrupted by any unpredictability throughout 2021. Just another quick thing that I really do want to say, the eclipse, there's a Taurus lunar eclipse on November the 19th. This will be really significant for you guys. It will be a supportive energy to you. So I feel like it will be a culmination of things. And then either just before that eclipse, during that eclipse, or after that eclipse, you'll kind of get something very supportive coming in for you. And this will have a really positive effect for majority of your field. I also know Jupiter moves into Pisces just shortly from the 14th of May to the 27th of July. So you want to think May, June and July. This again is going to be a very supportive energy for you in a way that you can expand, and you can... A lot of deep healing will probably occur around that time period, but it will be easy. It will be joyful. So I think that is also an incredibly awesome thing for you guys. And then, just also, when I was just like literally just thinking about doing your doing your Akashic Records, and I just had a quick look at your astrology chart for the year. Like, these are the things that came straight out at me, which is, this is a year of maturing for you, and you're going to be maturing in different ways depending on obviously other things within your life, but this is you really stepping into a much more conscious, a conscious being, really. And it's all going to be very much about you also really being able to self-soothe in many different ways, and this is going to become incredibly grounding for you. And you're going to feel, I just can see loads and loads of magician cards standing next to each other, and loads and loads of the chariot cards and tarot standing next to each other, and I really feel like this is the energy that you're going to be embodying to do with you by the end of 2021. So I feel like it's a very powerful year. I do feel like there'll be some twists and turns, but I really can feel that you're going to be taking all of this into your stride way more than you have any other year in your life, which I think is really awesome. The other thing I really get is there's a real big theme about deepening commitments. So just because you have all of this, you know, you have strong energies in your 8th house about intimate connections, intimate bondings, all of these different things. And then also you have Pluto in your 7th house. The 7th house is about those one-on-one relationships. But I just really see that it's really going to be asking you to commit deeper to yourself and what it is and who it is you really want in your life. And I do feel this will be something that you grow into over this year of 2021. And it's almost like I can see sort of like a tree, a baby tree that's then growing into a massive stable oak that's got roots that connect into so many other trees almost all around the world, I'm seeing, which I just think is a really powerful image. And again, this feels this thing about maturing again. And then the other thing that really comes up again because of these houses, the 8th house with Jupiter and Saturn, and the 7th house with Pluto, the thing that I really get is karmic contracts are coming under review. And I think this will mean different things for many of you, but I'm seeing karmic contracts from your childhood, from past lives, from ancestral contracts that you're working with. So where your ancestral lineage has, all ancestral lineages have different contracts, and when you get born into an ancestral lineage, you are adopting those contracts as well as like part of the process, in the same way that you might you adopt your mum's blonde hair, let's say, you know, that sort of thing as well. So I see a lot of karmic contracts coming under review over 2021. So the thing is, be super kind to yourself, be super nurturing to yourself, like have a whole load of things that you do that make you feel really like soft and almost gorgeous and kind of peaceful and tranquil. I just feel like this is really important because it's really going to help you on a soul level, and then also on a human being level, really work through these karmic contracts and do it in a nurturing way, in a nurturing, harmonious way. I do really think there is this potential for you, but it is definitely about going into that higher level of consciousness. But then that's all part of this maturation process that I can see going on. And then just the last other thing, just to quickly say, there's a Venus retrograde in Capricorn at the end of December of 2021. Once again, I feel like this is going to be super supportive to you guys, and definitely to do with this 8th house that we talked about and this 7th house. So 8th house of these karmic contracts and ancestral lineages and intimate bonding, and 7th house of the one-on-one partnerships. You know, this Venus retrograde in Capricorn at the end of the year will kind of be going over the areas and the themes that have got pulled up throughout the whole of 2020. However, this isn't pulling them up to re-go through them again. This is more like, again, a maturation process I'm hearing to do with it. So I think it's either the completion of these kind of contracts and things like that, or at least it's a real engaging with these karmic contracts in a completely different way, so they actually feel like very new contracts. There's that kind of energy coming up, and I do just feel like this is going to be super supportive to you again. So that's the overall vibes that I'm picking up. Just before we do pull out the piles, I've done this for every other group, we're just going to go straight into your Akashic Records for the collective and just pull one card, which is the overall theme for you guys. what do we get? So we have 3 of Swords. Now, for any of you that know tarot, don't panic when you see that. Again, really what I'm just feeling is this really is the... interesting. My guides are saying that, you know, the 3 swords, and this is almost like the Holy Trinity. Now, to be honest, I don't really know that much about religion, but my guides are saying it's like, what is it, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But in perspective to do with you, regardless of what your religion is, I can just see it's things like your heart, mind, and soul all coming together as one. And you're actually now yielding to that collaboration of all 3 parts of you rather than resisting it. So I didn't expect that to come out of the 3 of Swords, but that's really what I'm getting. And I think probably this is the thing as well, like having that flexibility. And I know that obviously Cancer, you're not a mutable sign, but you know, the nodes of the moon will be they're in Sagittarius and they're in Gemini, which is mutable energy. And because you are so in tune, and because you actually find it really easy to absorb things from your environment, this is where you can actually look to absorb that energy that is flexible and mutable from the nodes of the moon in Gemini and Sagittarius, and use this to your advantage. Because I really feel like the easier everything becomes and the more you get out of this year of 2021 is definitely about yielding and sort of bowing down, but just bowing down to your own soul. So kind of following your own truth and sticking with that. And really, really trusting yourself. Like I say, Cancer, you guys, you're so in tune. You are so, so in tune. And in tune in a very practical way as well. Like your psychic senses can work in a very, very practical way, which is going to be incredibly powerful for you over 2021. Cool. So now we have 3 piles. So we have pile 1. So just feel into what you feel. We have pile 2. And we have pile 3. So just feel into now what feels right for you. So the top layer is stones from my shamanic meze, so we'll channel with those. And the bottom layer is just some crystals. And we'll go into the crystals in the extended reading for the channeling. So do you feel your answer is in pile number 1? For what your Akashic Records want to tell you. And then this is the crystal. Do you feel your answer is in pile number 2? And here is the crystal. Do you feel your answer is in pile number 3? And here is the crystal. Great, so let's head on straight over to pile number 1. Hi Cancer, so welcome to your reading for what your Akashic Records want to tell you about 2021. So we're going to put your crystal to the side. I think this one is La Mer. I always say it a bit weird and wrong. But anyway, so we'll go into that later for the channeling, and we'll just start with this one. So what does your Akashic Records want to tell you? I mean, to be honest, even before I was like literally recording, just about to press the play, my guys are just like, this pile is very much connected into relating and relationships. This is going to be quite a big theme for you guys in 2021. And I'm hearing as well that there's quite a lot of purging and clearing out to do with relationships on multiple different levels. But this is also working on a deeper level in your own psychology, because it's clearing out things to do within you that are now literally outdated. And your Akashic Records are saying that because Neptune is in that 9th house about belief systems, and you'll be very in tune with Neptune, Cancer can absolutely work easily with Neptune because that's ruled by Pisces. These are all really easy, similar energies to you. Like, it's really easy to communicate Cancer energy to Neptune. And because that's in the house of your belief systems, I actually think you'll find it really quite easy to change your beliefs almost without even realizing it's happening in 2021. So it's not like this is going to be hardcore to do with you really going to have to maybe you know, maybe 2020 there was a lot of really working hard to do with things, and lots of things came up that were maybe quite heavy to do with intimate connections, or to do with relationships, and maybe to do with grieving of relationships, or feeling like something was missed out on, or something was lost to do with relationships, all the way back from childhood, even on a past life basis, and then also obviously right into your actual one-on-one relationships in the here and now. But actually 2021, to do with that then, has the ability to be so much easier to do with all of that now. But I'm just hearing the most important thing is, when it comes to you in relationships in 2021, it's like that card, the Three of Swords that we got out, you just bowing down and honouring your soul, so your heart, your mind and your spirit, and being really, really honest with yourself. Be careful not to deceive yourself about relationships or connections or partnerships or collaborations. I think there's something that you need to be really important to do with that. And my guys are also saying this is also relevant to you and your career, your life purpose, that kind of thing, because you have Chiron in that 10th house. So you just want to make sure, just double check every people that are in your life to do with career and life purpose and that kind of thing. Just constantly have a little reassessment over 2021 just to check that these people are who they say they are. This is not in any way a problem, because majority of them are, but it's just being vigilant to do with that. And then if you get an answer, even if you don't like the answer, stick to your truth and what your heart, mind and your spirit are saying to do with this person or to do with this situation, and then you'll know what action to take. And this, my guides are saying as well, is something about clearing out these old karmic cycles too, because any disharmonious connections that you have had or you have in that kind of career, life purpose, in the outer world, you know, in the outer world beyond your family and stuff like that, and any disharmonious connections there are really just reflecting back something that you've been working through in your 8th house, to do with characteristics and scenarios that you have willingly inherited as a soul by choosing the family line that you did to get born into. And so it's just this process now of just, because that's now changing for you, and you're changing your DNA on a cellular level and how you think and feel about things, you just need to make sure that everybody else in your external reality matches up to this new part of you, this new future self, which is massively evolving in a positive direction over 2021. Cool. This stone feels like it's giving me heat and it's making my palms sweaty. So I just feel, just make sure that your adrenals and things like that and your sympathetic nervous system isn't on overdrive too much at any points in 2021. And if it is, just do what you do to self-soothe, to feel really relaxed and really nurtured, whatever that might be. Like I'm seeing visions of like spas and stuff like that, like a beautiful tranquil spa. So just make sure that you have some of those really nice self-care, self-loving, self-soothing routines going off, so that when you do find there is moments of intensity, you're able to handle it so much easier. Great, that's really nice. Okay, so now let's go into your cards and see what's going on. So what is going on for Cancer Pile 1 in their Akashic Records in 2021? Ooh, the Chariot and the Two of Cups. Interesting. So once again, I am getting this. And didn't I say to you? Well, that was in the beginning one. I could see like the Magicians and the Chariot all lined up, and this is the energy you're going to be at the end of the year. I also said I can really feel this is a relationship type energy, and we got the Two of Cups. So if that felt like it resonated for you, I do really think that's something that's going to be coming through for you. But again, my guides are saying you just want to make sure that you are checking your relationships, your connections, and basically everything in your outer world and your outer reality, to make sure it's in alignment with what it is that you are really now wanting. And guides are saying with you, we're not reading any cards in reverse, so let's just see. So we have Temperance. Oh, that's a beautiful card to start with. So once again, that just makes me think of the harmony. Oh, no way. The Lovers. You see, this is it, guys. There really is something. There is a lot of stuff coming on for you to do with relationships, for sure. in 2021. But as well, your Akashic Records are saying, look, this relationship first of all starts with you. But then they're also saying, guys, you've done so much to do with yourself as well over the past few years, so just trust that. But just allow it to just evolve and grow, and not a pressured situation. But when things come up for you personally, you face them, you look at them, you integrate them, you relax, you move on. Everything you want to make, everything will go well for you, Cancer, if you apply yourself, like I hear the moon and the sea like work together, like with their tides. The tides are never erratic, they're never unpredictable, they have a real rhythmic like cycle to them, and you just want to look for that in your own nature. So maybe it's also about making notes in a diary or something like that to notice when things happen where you maybe feel a little bit more destabilized. Get that down, and then also put down how long it takes to restabilize, and then maybe see if there's a pattern with that. Maybe also see, obviously Cancer, you guys are going to be so in tune with what happens with the moon anyway, and as the moon's one of the fastest moving things around anybody's birth chart, there's that constant fluctuation. And I can really see as well with the Lovers and the Temperance, before we go any further, these to me are both two very, very balancing cards, because here we've got the masculine and the feminine collaborating together, and then here we've got the angel with two different cups and balancing water in a way that seems beyond belief. And I think that's maybe something as well, like what do you, when I say these words right now, feel into it, what do you feel is beyond belief in your life, something that you would love to happen? And I think it's about being open to the fact that it can happen, and it can start to happen in 2021 with that kind of, if you apply a self-soothing, a relaxed approach to many things that happen during 2021, and just understand your own ebb and flow, basically. That's a big part of it, understanding your own ebb and flow. Anyway, that's beautiful to start the reading. Also really powerful energies too. So then we have the Ace of Cups. Although it came in reverse, my guys were like, we're not reading anything in reverse, so that's fine. So we have the Ace of Cups, again, relates to emotions and relationships. Oh wow, and then we have another card, another major arcana. So we have the Hermit. I will just get a little bit more information on the Hermit on that one. But first of all, let's just see what this is. Then we have the Six of Swords. Okay, so you're definitely in the process of going towards calmer waters. I would definitely say for the majority of people that pick this pile, you are going into much calmer waters, particularly to do with relationships and your relationship with your inner child and your relationship with your family lineage. I feel all of this is coming to much calmer waters. Now, just before I channel into more, I do just feel like I just want one more to do with this, the Hermit. What exactly is the Hermit with this? I think I know what it is, but I just want to check just to be certain. Oh wow, Six of Cups. Guys, could we get any more relationship cards out for you guys at the moment? It's mental. Okay. So what this is telling me here with the Hermit is 2021, it is really about you. It's interesting, I'm not really getting the Hermit as in you keeping yourself alone or isolated, but I'm getting it more as like the energy of the Virgo archetype, and I'm really kind of feeling it as you do, you know how Virgo rules the digestive tract, so it works out what is useful to be reabsorbed and what is not useful to be excreted from the system. And I feel like there's something that you need to potentially look at to do with that, to do with all of your relationships and connections in 2021. I actually can really feel that this is probably coming on a friendship level, because I could really feel this with Uranus being in your 11th house. I do feel like there could be sudden dramatic changes to do with your friendship groups. But if this does happen, I'm really hearing that this is all helping you get in alignment for the connections that you really seek in your life. And I do also feel like this might happen because there's going to be a big change from who you were at the beginning of 2021 to who you are at the end of 2021. And I feel like for a lot of you, 2022 and 2023 will also be really powerful, potent years. And in many ways, 2020 was just kind of like starting to warm things up for you. 2021 really starts to warm things up for you. And then there's real acceleration towards the end of 2021, in 2022, 2023. So, and I feel like this as well as this thing that we're talking about, this maturation process that you're on, and that's why there is almost going to be quite a radical growth spurt. And your Akashic Records are also saying, because Neptune is in that 9th house about belief systems and going into the unknown, and also be mindful that Neptune rules Sagittarius. So if you have a lot of planets or other things that are important in your natal chart, solar return chart or progress chart to do with either Jupiter or Sagittarius, I do feel like that house of your belief systems and going into the unknown within areas of yourself, your life, relationships, the whole entire lot will be highlighted. I can really see it's important, but I just really feel as well it's so important that you use discernment, because Neptune can make things very, very elusive. So just really pay attention. Once again, it's like, what does your body, mind and spirit tell you about this person, about this situation? And what I would say is, if any of you have a tendency to compensate for others or put others first before you, because obviously Cancer can sometimes do that with that nurturing energy. You know, if you have a tendency to do that, I would actually say it's down to you what you decide to do, but you don't have to do that anymore unless obviously you want to, because there is a lot of amazing love energy coming in for you guys over this 2021 period. But I have to say that with your astrology, and like we said about the 8th house, those big transformations going through there, and obviously Pluto going through your 7th house, you are going to have to get very clear about any connections that really don't feed you or are in alignment with the old you, and you're going to have to decide yourself, is the space for something new? And then if something new comes in, you're also going to have to go back again to your discernment and be like, okay, so is this really beneficial for me? Is this really the new me? Is this really the new me? Ooh. If this sounds a bit intense when I'm saying about discernment and just maybe having to just be mindful about people that aren't in your groups and stuff like that, I don't actually get an intense vibe at all. I remember even when I was setting up your background, it just all felt so soft. And then obviously with these cards coming out, I do think it feels soft. And with the definition I got for that 3 of Swords when it came out for all of you collectively, that was a really soft, interpretation of the 3 of Swords. So I just, I know things have probably been pretty intense in 2020 because, again, I know that 8th house was really activated for you of karma and things like that, but you really, really are absolutely coming out of that kind of intensity now. And I do just think it is though still, now it's going to be about choices that you have to make, because this is part of that maturation process that you're in. The universe sees you as an adult, is seeing you as an adult now, and I'm hearing that the universe is seeing you as an equal, and so the universe is saying it's your choice. It is up to you what you decide to do, what path you decide to follow. Like, you have, so many of you already have all of the information that you need to create the life that you want, and now I'm hearing that it's just very much about, but what choices are you going to make? Because also, as we all know, I guess if you follow tarot, that the Lovers card absolutely can all be about choices. And it's about what choices are you going to make. And I very much see the Lovers as, what choices are you going to make that will create a new form of connection between you, your internal you, and your external reality in a positive, loving, nurturing, supportive way. And I particularly love this Lovers card. I mean, that is just, to be honest, that reminds me of the vibration of Cancer energy in one of its highest potentials anyway. Just super, super loving, super connective, super supportive, super open, super vulnerable, super sharing. And so once again, that does make me feel like there's going to be a lot of energy for this pile that's going to be encouraging you to really step more into that archetypal energy of Cancer in, once again, a really mature and almost like a wise way. And I think in shamanic astrology, Cancer can often be seen as one of the archetypes of the elder, as is Capricorn. So I feel like that'll be coming underway as well. And like I say, I know the past couple of years have probably been pretty intense, because we also had, well, in 2019 there was also all of that stuff with the North Nodes in Cancer and Capricorn for you, which should have obviously been really, really triggering, would have really pushed you to become, I don't know, like a higher, it would just have pushed you into your highest directions for your life. But I know that sometimes it can be quite intense as well when all the intention is on you basically climbing up that mountain to that highest expression of you. Even though when you finally get there, the view is amazing, but the journey up there can be, once again, unpredictable, and it can basically challenge you. But I'm seeing that in the past, it has just challenged you like creating a diamond, putting so much pressure on that rock, so that over time the pressure and the heat turns it into this incredible diamond. And that's what I'm really seeing has happened for you guys in the past. And I do really feel that you're moving away from those more kind of like intense experiences. That is not to say that you won't have any intense experiences in 2021, because let's be honest, nobody is just going to go from the reality that we experienced in 2020 to all like love, light and rainbows in 2021. However, you've been trained, I'm hearing, you have been trained to be able to handle a range of situations and scenarios, which is putting you in an optimum position for any unpredictable things that occur in 2021. I'm hearing as well, though, with what you have with the planets of Saturn and Jupiter in that 8th house, just watch out. I feel like one of the things that you could trip up on in 2021 is feeling restricted by external authority in some type of way. And I feel like if that happens, it's just going to flood back to a whole load of feelings that you had as a child, either due to your relationship with your primary caregivers, an older sibling, or your teachers even. So just watch out. If that starts to happen, I would say nip that in the bud as quick as possible, because it's not a positive mindset for where you're going. Because the truth is, your Akashic Records are saying, like, you can't have an issue with authority, because you really are becoming an authority. Like, because you are maturing, because you are becoming that elder, it also means you are becoming that authority. So if you have this issue with any external authority in a particularly feeling restricted way, your Akashic Records are saying that's going to reflect internally, and that's going to restrict the growth of your own maturation process, your own wisdom and your own authority. So just telling you this because it's really useful to know the booby traps. You know them in advance, then they don't shock you when they happen, and then also you can have already been thinking about how you will work through that. So this all seems really, really nice though. I love how shiny and gold these cards are. I had a feeling you guys would really like this. Anyway, let's pull some more and let's bring in some silver shining, because as well I feel like there is a real blending of masculine and feminine energy for you in 2021. So that's bringing together many different parts of you too. Your emotions with your logical mind. I can see the way that you communicate internally to yourself through the collaboration of your feeling body and your mental body is really going to also go through an upgrade. It's going to become way more harmonious, and this is also what's going to allow you to become much more of a self-soother. So let's see what's going on here. Right, as I say, we need 3 more. So let's see what happens. Whoop. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. So we have the 8 of Swords. Interesting. Wow, powerful. We have the Death card. Okay. some big transformations going on there. So interesting. I was just talking about restriction. If you feel restricted, look into that. And obviously, if you know tarot, 8 of Swords is all about mental restrictions, mental entrapments. So I think because that came out so close to what I just said, be really mindful about what I just said then about the whole authority and restriction and how that plays out externally and internally. And actually my guides are saying that this is what they're saying, like this is going to go under a huge transformation process. So pretty much 80% of you, to be honest, my guides are saying 90% of you are going to go through what I've just described in 2021 about at some points feeling restricted by an external authority of some kind or other. But this, my guides are saying, is part of the process, part of this death and rebirth process. Because by going through this in a conscious way, you're going to completely transform how you respond to external authority. And that's going to completely transform how you respond to your own internal authority. And I'm hearing that this is when the real magic starts to happen for you. And this is when you really start to accelerate your own spiritual growth, but also you're going to be, this is going to do something for you to do with your job and career as well. Anyway, let's just see what this one is. Oh wow, King of Vessels. Nice. And I do just think that follows on from everything that we were saying basically here about, because you know the King of Vessels is the King of Cups. He is an authority because, I mean, he's a king, so he has that kind of authority. But he's very, very compassionate and considerate. And I really feel like you as the Cancer energy, this is the highest expression of your authority, where you can be that kind, compassionate, gentle, guiding, but still very, very solid and grounding authority, both for yourself, so you become epic at self-soothing, and therefore also for other people. And I can really see that for many of you, this is really going to be, I feel like, quite a radical transformation that will happen over 2021 to do with this. I can feel that that is really, really important. Now I'm just getting a message along with that. Okay, so I get these random channeled messages from the Akashic Records, and then we go into them in the extended. So this one says, why try and bake the cake you don't want to eat? I know they sound really, really bizarre and abstract, but we usually get some amazing nuggets out of them when we go into the Akashic Records. Anyway, let's just get a few more cards here. Just hearing one more as well. That's interesting. Okay, so I've just got here as well, the moonlight is not your own light. I've got a feeling this is to do with authority again and your own maturation process, but obviously we'll go into that in the extended to see exactly what that means. Anyway, here we go. Let's get some more. So what does your Akashic Records want to tell the Geminis that picked this pile number 1? Okay, I'm hearing 2 cards for this. Let's see for this. I just want 2 more cards. This one. And this one. I also really got pulled to loads of energies, like colours, that were all this kind of like purpley, pinky, sort of soft blue colour. And it really just as well, that just makes me feel like you're going to be opening up your higher heart chakra. And that's a chakra that kind of goes over your thymus gland. It's the one where if you ever do EFT and tapping, you kind of tap very close to that at one point. I can see that sort of lots of past life energies and just past karma in many different ways is kind of getting released through your thymus gland, energetically obviously, through like this higher heart chakra. And I really can feel as well like your intuition is going to be heightened, but it is going to be only opened up to you in a way that is just like the tides. So it's going to come in gracefully and move away gracefully, and come in gracefully and move away gracefully. And there'll be some moments, and I do think it will be connected to the moon, when you realise your intuition gets heightened. What I'm trying to say is nothing is going to be like radically pushed on you to do with your intuition, psychic insights, anything like that. Yeah. And I just really feel like you're just going to be so much more in tune with your own boundaries. Right, let's see what we get. So we have, I invoke laughter. Oh, nice. That, I think that's really positive, particularly for friendships and connections. Then we have, oh, so nice. You are good enough, full moon in Virgo. Interesting, because obviously I was talking to you about that Virgo energy, about you working out, you know, what it is you are going to allow in your life and what it is you're going to let go of in your life. And I think when you have really good self-worth, this is something that you will naturally understand what to do. And I do really, really feel like a lot of you are so close to being there. Some of you are already there, and some of you are so, so close to being there. And if any of you feel like you're nowhere close to that, then I do feel like there'll be some radical changes to do with that over 2021. But like, again, I do think they're going to occur. It's almost like one day you'll just kind of wake up and you'll just feel very, very different, because sometimes that's the power of what Neptune can do, particularly when it's in your 9th house, to do with almost like your belief systems. They really can change in that subtle yet radical way. Like, once it's changed forever kind of thing. Then we have the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. Again, look, there's those colours again. I would really have, if you're into meditation, I would have a meditate into these sort of colours and see if you can psychically see where they are within your energy field, your aura, your chakras, stuff like that. It's really beautiful though. Then we have pressure, transformation. So funny, because we've talked about the death and rebirth, and we've said about these, you know, transformations that are occurring. This also, again, highlights that 8th house that we talked about. So once again, I feel like there's lots of transformations where Saturn and Jupiter are, and very much to do with your past, your family lineage, things that you've inherited, but you're changing that all up. And interestingly as well, because we talked about that image that I saw of, like, you know, you as a rock that lots of pressure has gone over in the past few years, which has turned you into a diamond. And I do really feel like, obviously, that transformation is still happening, but it kind of feels like it's really coming, you're way past the halfway mark, basically. You know what I mean? You're like you're so much closer to the completion of that transformation rather than the beginning of that transformation. And then we have here, vulnerability. I mean, that's a perfect energy for you guys for Cancer. You know, this is the thing as well. You know, Cancer, wherever you have Cancer energy in your chart, this is a place where you can really access the heart of humanity, basically. So this is where you can really, really connect on basically a physical, mental, emotional, energetic level to being a human being and what this means. And because you can relate to that in that area of your chart, wherever that is for you, on such a visceral, integrated way, this can often bring many followers to you, put it that way, because there's something about you that feels beautiful. And what I'm getting actually is it reminds me of sometimes you see people that are really magnetic to other people. If you can see them psychically, I suppose a little bit like what people think physical beauty is ideally, where everything's really symmetrical on somebody's face or body. And actually in the same way, there's quite often you can see that with an energy field. So regardless of what that person looks like or whatever, quite often a really magnetic person will have a really kind of beautiful, symmetrical aura. And obviously we all have energy fields with sacred geometry in them. It's just how it is. And so that sort of gets highlighted in some ways and becomes incredibly attractive and appealing. And I don't know why, but I'm kind of seeing that kind of energy for you guys. So if you do know your charts, check out which house Cancer is in. And obviously if you guys are ascendants, that is amazing. That really means that you have this beautiful, but not seductive. It's not like Scorpio. It's not seductive and sexual and that kind of energy. It's more just very, very wholesome and, I don't know, really, really comforting. Just very beautiful. So that's really nice there. Anyway, but what we will do is we're going to go into more information now into the extended. We will channel this crystal to see what's going on. Once again, I feel like, yeah, we're getting relationship stuff. I can feel it with this one. Definitely deep soul connections with this. Then we'll look at what these actually mean on a deeper level. The moon light is not your own light. And why try to bake a cake if you don't want to eat it? Then we'll also look at this whole thing about invoking laughter, which I can feel is really important for connections. We'll look more into this Virgo energy and what is gaining momentum in your life, as well as a bit more exactly what your Akashic Records want to tell you specifically about vulnerability. And then we will, last of all, then just pull a card from the I Ching and I'll read it out of the book so you get a specific message from the I Ching, because I think they give incredible messages, and my guide said to do it with your Akashic Records, and yeah, you can basically see how that works and make it fit for you. So I hope that you found that useful. It is flagging up that because I do feel a lot of Cancer energy just within these cards anyway, so it might be useful for you to check out my YouTube channel on See It Like a Psychic, and I have a video for the highest potential of the Cancer archetype. I think you might find quite a lot with that. I'm also getting that it'll be useful for you to look at the highest potential of the Pisces archetype, because there's something really about flow in there that I think you guys will really resonate with, and it will pull up what I'm trying to say about learning to flow with your own cycle and rhythm of the tide. So both of those could be useful. You can also check me out on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Abigail Grace Psychic. I post things there. And oh yeah, where you can get this extended reading from and readings and products and things like that from me anyway is my website, abigailgracepsychic.com. So I'll leave all that information for you, and thank you for letting me read for you. This looks great, basically, and I really do know things have not been easy for a lot of Cancers, so this is well deserved. There's still a little bit of a way to go, don't get me wrong, but you know, you really can work with this. This is going to be way more supportive and nourishing. Anyway, hope to see you on the extended. Bye. So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon. Hi there, Cancer. So welcome to your Akashic, what your Akashic Records want to tell you to do with 2021, and this is for everybody that chose pile number 2, these two, as holding the answers for you. So we're going to channel into the crystal in the extended reading, so we'll go into that there. So we'll just put it to the side. Now we're just going to go straight into the shamanic stone. I'm hearing really interesting words that I don't resonate with the Cancer archetype, but I'm hearing direction, focus, passion, and I'm just seeing Literally, all you guys here, I'm seeing the Capricorn part of your chart lighting up. So I'm seeing 10th house lit up. I'm seeing wherever Capricorn is. And I'm seeing whatever planets are in Capricorn. Now, I do know Pluto's in there for you. And that's in your 7th house. But what I'm actually getting with this, and this is really interesting, I'm getting that this is to do with your relationship with basically the universe, God, whatever word that you give, Great Spirit, whatever energy, whatever word you give to the expression of those words, basically. So it's all about your partnership to do with you and your creator on a spiritual level. But this is also to do with how you are manifesting your purpose, your passion, and your direction into your life in a very physical way, so that others can also benefit from it. This is really interesting because pile number 1 Cancer was instantly just like boom, relationship. You guys, it's just like instantly like boom. This is about, like I say, purpose, passion. It's about accountability and responsibility for the soul that you are and for what it was that you agreed that you would come to this world and contribute to, essentially. And this really feels like it almost feels like a crusade. Yeah, that's it. Because I'm like seeing visions of like, I don't know, I've just seen like a whole load of knights like going on crusades, but they're going through deserts and then they're going through cities, but they're doing it, but there's a lot of camaraderie within those knights, within that group. So I'm also seeing like your 11th house, which I do know has Uranus in, that's being lit up, to do with calling in or being surrounded by people that share the same mission as you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing the exact same thing as you, but it just means that the core energy and essence of what they're doing is completely in alignment with the core energy and essence of what you're here to do. But you don't step on each other's toes. You all have different qualities and attributes within that. I'm also seeing Neptune again, but interestingly, I'm not seeing the planet Neptune. I'm actually seeing like Poseidon. So I think he is the god of the sea, or at least he rules Neptune in that way. Which is really interesting. Look, I just totally go with what I'm getting. I just know that Poseidon wants to just channel something to us. So just one second, let me just see. I don't know whether to just say it or pull cards. Let's just say it. I think we'll just do that. Okay, so just one second. Just give me one moment. What is that energy frequency wanting to share with you? That it's time to step into the oceans of possibility, but within unlimited possibilities, there are many sirens that can pull you off track. You have to stay true to your path, but you can only do that if you know your path, and you get to know your path because you listen to the movement of the ocean within you, which is how you feel about every single thing in any one moment. And you follow the feelings that pull you into the sea. And just remember that the sea is where you hold all your potential, because it's your feeling body which is going to give you an anchor within uncertain times. And with that anchor, you can direct what happens to you regardless of the external conditions. Okay, well, I totally didn't expect that. I've not had anything like that so far when doing these Akashic Records for the zodiac signs for 2021. Cool, thank you so much for that message. So, I mean, my mind feels a bit like, poof, after that, let's just go straight into cards. Cool, anyway, so obviously we can see there's a lot of, there's definitely something about you being on a mission, but also it's really important to obviously do with your feelings and be listening to your feelings. Oh wow, we have a totally different spread coming out. I've not seen this one before. 1 second. We're doing it like a V. Okay, interestingly, I know there's something in palmistry where if you see a V on your palm, then it usually means that good luck will follow you later on in life, like past the age of 35. So I don't know how that message in itself might resonate to some of you. Are we reading reversals? Yes and no, I'm hearing. So we turn them over and I'll just know. Okay, so the Fool. Yeah, we're keeping with that upright. Love the energy of the Fool. Side by side, the Six of Cups. Nice. Okay, so this instantly just reminds me of what we saw anyway, that you are going on a journey and you're taking a leap of faith to follow your heart's calling in some way, and that you do have, or you will have, supportive souls around you on that journey that are also on that same pathway as you. I'm also getting that many of these, if you feel an instant pull and connection and attraction to them, you definitely have had past life connections before, and to some extent, oh my goodness, this is totally coming through, you have literally been on crusades before together. That is so cool. I love that. So if any of you are good at like just doing meditation and feeling into past lives, you definitely have a past life that has a similar frequency to what's happening to you in 2021, very much to do with crusades and going on a mission of like a holy grail. But the holy grail is about that life purpose, that you have a unique mission in whatever way this might be. I also just want to say this as well, it doesn't necessarily mean it's something to do with it could, for example, people don't often think about this, but it could be your life purpose to be a parent. I just want to put that out there, particularly with Cancer, with the nurturing energy, but it isn't necessarily that. I'm just saying there's many, many different ways that life purpose is. And one of the things as well my guides are really saying to tell you is that as well, people don't realise that life purpose really is that feeling of complete emotional fulfillment in whatever it is that you are doing. That's when you know that that is something which is in alignment with you, life purpose, and it is part of your life purpose, because you get this deep feeling of emotional fulfillment. Ooh, it's all coming out quick for you guys. So then what do we have? We have the Eight of Wands. Yeah, we'll keep that upright. And so funny because I literally just said it's all coming out quick for you guys. Then we get the Ace of Wands, one of the quickest moving cards in the deck. This is quite exciting. Okay, Page of Pentacles, so new opportunity coming through, but it's something you need to carefully consider. If this is an opportunity to do with career, life purpose, anything that rules that 10th house, you just need to check that company or that person or whatever it is that you're doing, their belief systems are in alignment with your belief systems. I'm hearing that's really, really important. And don't allow yourself to be put under any illusion about what this opportunity is. And the way that you can work out what this opportunity is you just need to just take a little moment, intuitively feel into it, and just actually honestly be honest with yourself. Does this feel like, I'm hearing these specific words, does this feel like it's in alignment with your future aspirations of who you want to become? If it does, then you know this is a positive step forward. That's just something for you to think about. Anyway, then we also get the Star. So sometimes this can be healing. Actually, what I'm seeing with this is, I'm just seeing this as, this is possibilities. This is a number of opportunities coming in, but they're coming in fast. And it's opportunities and it's ideas that are coming in fast. And I'm kind of, it's almost like you, in many moments in 2021, you're a bit of a channel for energy from the cosmos. So this sometimes the Star card, because it's the Aquarius energy card, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is in your 11th house to do with people, communities, connections. I feel like there's some people or souls, again, this is this energy, that are on a similar mission to you, and because of that you're very inspiring to each other or as a group. And what I can see energetically is you all have your 8 chakras connected to each other. So it actually means that you can, all of you, tap into each other's Akashic records without realizing, to unconsciously download information that's really helpful for helping each individual move closer towards their destiny and their life purpose. How you'll recognize this is because you will intuitively know things about this person for their highest potential. Be really clear though, sometimes we can intuitively be aware of things which are not in alignment with somebody's highest potential. That's still very valid, but very specifically with this person, this group of people, the first things you are aware of is their highest potential in situations, and you intuitively know these things. I'm also really getting with this is you're going to have some eureka moments when you just suddenly get almost divine inspiration of an idea. And actually there's a video on my See It Like a Psychic channel, the highest potential of the Aquarius archetype, which will describe this really, really well for you, and you'll really, really get it. Definitely be open to a lot of intuitive insight. And funny enough, Pile 1 also had this thing about a lot of intuitive insight. And bearing in mind, Cancer energy absolutely is highly in tune and highly intuitive. With you guys though, this is going to come quite sudden and fast and unexpectedly. A little bit like when I was channeling here and all of a sudden we get a channeled message from Poseidon. It's something like that where it's completely unexpected. You didn't plan it, but it just comes in and you just know you need to go with it, so you go with it. It's that sort of energy that you need to be consciously aware of. And then we have the Nine of Wands. I actually see this card as like this, going sideways across, because I feel this isn't you defending anything. This isn't you protecting anything. This isn't actually you exhausted about anything. I feel like this is more like, somehow, I don't know why I'm getting these words. I'm getting these words of, this is you strategizing. This is you strategizing and planning. And I'm really hearing again, it's forward thinking, it's future planning, it's finding new ways to, I'm hearing the word mutate old problems. And mutate, I think, because this is not about healing or fixing anything, it's about completely radicalizing something. So if any situations occur in 2021 that appear that they need fixing, it feels like your Akashic records are saying to you, it's not about fixing, it's about finding forward way, looking at the problem with completely new eyes. Wow, you see, this is, I really like with this was the Nikola Tesla kind of energy. I'm also really getting the energy of Einstein kind of energy as well, both of which I always think of when I think of Aquarius and Uranus type of energy. Yeah, this is about you looking with fresh eyes at old problems. So you know how Einstein has that quote, which I will totally misquote, but it's something about you can't change a problem with the same consciousness that created the problem. And it's something about you being really mindful about that. So again, a little bit like Pile 1, this is not about you going into the past and healing anything. If there's something that's coming up from the past that appears that it needs to be healed, you just need to perceive it in a new way and find a radical new approach, which is not about healing. It's about creating and inventing in some way. So if I was feeling into anything, this is like, it's doing everything for forward movement, and it's doing everything for a positive future, and it's doing everything to kind of, I'm seeing this image actually, your Akashic records are showing me this image of a train going down a track, and then it's coming to a place where it can either go straight on, it can go right, or it can go left as the tracks like split basically. And to go straight on is continue doing things the way you've always done them. And so the universe is like, if you can, avoid doing that. Just choose to go right or choose to go left. And it doesn't matter which way you choose, just choose a different way of interacting specifically with your past and past patterns than what you've ever done before. And it's not about healing. It's about, I'm seeing like Because once again, I do know you've got quite a big house, a lot going off in your 8th house, and you have done in 2020, but you also will in 2021 with Saturn and Jupiter there. But this, the highest potential I'm showing you, right? So you can do whatever you want, but I'm just explaining this would be a higher potential option, or one of them, because there's many. You intuitively feel what's right for you. But it's very much about you. So Scorpio dives down deep to kind of unveil things that have been hidden. But this is more about you diving down deep and finding a treasure chest of gold, and then bringing that back to the surface, and then using that gold to not only enhance your life, but many other people's lives. Do you see what I mean? It's kind of very, very different. And that's sort of the energy that I'm feeling. Funny as well, we get shown the metaphor of the sea and diving deep, particularly when we had that Poseidon channeling earlier on. This is really interesting. Right, let's just pull a few more. Let's go with these. Actually, 1 second. I'm now being shown to do it like this. So what do your Akashic Records want to tell you about pile number 2? What's going on here? So in the middle we have 2 of stones, so that is 2 of pentacles. Okay, again, choices. That reminds me of that train. And don't go straight on and do the same thing. Either go left or right. But I can see the juggling of different opportunities coming through. I do, like I said, I did feel there was lots of opportunities as well with this star card. Just feels like it's somehow full of potential. Then we have here 4 of vases, which is 4 of cups. That just, I'm instantly getting with this, don't rest on your laurels. And then we're getting Knight of Stones, or like that, so that is Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so as well with the Knight of Pentacles, I'm really seeing that crusade image again, but I'm hearing, it's so weird, I'm hearing stick with what you know, but also we've just heard that thing about don't carry on the same path doing the same thing. But your Akashic Records are like, stick with what you know is more like stick with everything that you have learned about yourself, and stick with what you know to be true for you. And they're also again flagging up that card that we channeled for everybody to do with Cancer, which was that 3 of Swords, where it was about you honouring your and bowing down to your heart, your mind and your spirit's collaborative like guidance to you essentially. So it's asking you to stick with what you know and just keep going. Put your head down and just keep going with that. Don't question yourself. Don't, sometimes, the 2 of Stones can be, the 2 of Pentacles can be like a juggling type of energy. And also it can be a decision of which way do I go with confusion. Don't allow yourself to get confused about anything. Don't allow yourself to overthink about anything. I'm also being flagged up as well. The Mercury retrograde, when Mercury's retrograde in Libra, that's the time period when you just need to be patient, I'm hearing. Don't make any radical choices or decisions about stuff. Let me just see exactly when that is, because I can't actually remember off the top of my head. Just give me 1 second and I'll get it. So when is Libra? Okay, so Libra Mercury retrograde is round about the 7th of September to the 3rd of November. That's the entirety of it, including the shadow phase. So September and November, just be mindful about don't feel pressured into making a choice if choices come up, and don't allow yourself to feel confused if things start to get a little bit confusing then, particularly to do with one-on-one connections. Yeah, particularly to do with one-on-one connections, because obviously Libra rules your 7th house, and your 7th house currently has Capricorn energy in it, and we've already channeled that Capricorn energy is important for you, but that's also where Pluto is. That's where you're having like a real deep, I'm hearing a deep evolution about how you connect and how you collaborate. So any choices or any situations or any confusion that comes up in September, October, November, don't feel pushed to change tact is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that with the Knight of Pentacles, you know what is what. I'm literally hearing that. You know what is what with the Knight of Pentacles. You know what is right for you. You know what is not right with you. Stick with that. I'm also hearing, though, that be coy about something over that time period. If somebody's pushing you for an answer or a response, don't give one either way, but keep whatever it is open. Don't close down any possibilities, either by saying yes or no. Just keep things open and sort of play it coy, kind of. I'm hearing like play the game. I'm hearing sort of play the game. Take your time. And I'm also seeing a bit of a poker. I'm seeing the image of a bit of a poker game going off. So I don't know exactly what this involves, but it's something to do with, because actually that's quite interesting, because also 7th house is obviously Libra, but also 7th house can sometimes be seen as sort of like legal matters between you and somebody else. But also, to be honest, 8th house can also have stuff like that as well, to do with legal matters. And you also have Saturn and Jupiter there. Now, I don't want any of you to suddenly think, oh gosh, is this something legal that I'm having to go through? If you are going through that, you will already know this already. If you're not, it's more like the energetic frequency of that. And like I say, it pulls into this poker game, I feel, which is kind of about, it is being really mindful of the information that you're sharing in whatever way that is relevant to you in September, October and November. Just be really, really mindful. And before you share anything with someone or something or whatever, consider how the other party or the other point of view will perceive what you're sharing. And the idea is to try and get some kind of like to try and share or communicate whatever it is that you need to during that time period in a way that is a win-win situation. I'm hearing win-win is really, really important in whatever way that might make sense to you. Also as well, if we've gone past that time period, then just look back at that time period, September, October, November, and see what was going off for you, because whatever was going off there, and if you're just listening to this reading, there's still something that's relevant to do with that. Equally, if you're listening to this reading way before that date, just start to get mindful of, oh God, sorry, just let me just get what my guides are saying to me. It's showing me the front cover of a book, and I know the book, but I can't read the word on it. Just one second. Sorry, just give me 1 minute, because I know what it is, this book cover, and it's just the word on it. Just give me 1 sec while I just have a quick look. That's it, the word persuasion. That's what they're showing me. And they're showing me the words beyond persuasion. So it's looking at the deeper motivations and the deeper psychological elements that go off between one-on-one interactions where both parties want the other person to do something. This isn't necessarily manipulation at all. It can also be seen as collaboration, but you'll know the difference between the manipulation and and if it's collaboration, because of understanding the deeper psychological components that's going off on both sides. And whether this is manipulation or collaboration, it actually doesn't matter. I'm hearing the only thing that matters is how you interact with it. And once again, I'm getting this sort of maverick genius energy again of the Aquarius archetype, like it's all about you doing this in a totally new way to what you've ever done before. again, I'm hearing these words as it's asking you to step up into a new phase of maturity to do with collaborating and to do with working towards a common goal. So even if it doesn't seem like whatever this is, with whoever this is or whatever the situation is because you are sharing a common goal, drop deeper and realize that on a soul level, you will both be having a common goal that you both agree on, because that's why you're interacting with it like this in physical reality. And if you're getting to a point where you're not sure what you need to do about whatever this is, if you're not really sure which way to go forward, I'm hearing that if you can understand the soul lesson for you or the soul story that you're part of, that will then give you all the information that you need to make the decisions that you need to make. Ooh, that's really cool. I can also feel that's very different for all of you. And like I say, I'm channeling the core vibration, but then so how that plays out for you all individually will be different obviously. But also just with this one here, just make sure that you don't get resting on your laurels. So if like going back to the metaphor of the poker game, thinking that you've got this one in the bag, and therefore that's sort of like almost the word arrogance is just going to, I mean, I'm just seeing this with this one now, trip you up unexpectedly. But actually now you've listened to this and you've heard this reading, I really don't feel like that will happen at all. Also I'm hearing as well that again, with this kind of like going on this quest, you know, pushing forward with your purpose, like what we channeled in the very beginning, I'm hearing that just make sure that you don't get despondent about that pathway at times, because obviously there's going to be quite a few changes in 2021 just for everybody, because you don't even have to be psychic to know that, right? After what happened in 2020, like we can't suddenly go from quite a bit of chaos to suddenly harmony and all of that kind of thing. It will be a working, integrated kind of process. And just the same thing with you and your purpose, or this direction that you're going on, or whatever happens, or this spiritual journey that's raising your consciousness and changing how you look at everything, including yourself and the world. Just be kind to yourself, and instead of feeling despondent at times, feel compassion for yourself instead, I feel, which I do really feel is something that you guys can naturally do, because Cancer is so compassionate. You guys are amazing at that. You have a natural ability. And I'm also hearing that, you know, whoever is in your soul tribe, or whoever comes into your life that's really supportive of you, any times that you feel like you need a bit of a boost in morale, which is totally understandable, because these journeys are full on when we go into these spiritual spaces of really pushing ourselves to grow and expand. It means there's like constant internal changes often going on regardless, so that's totally understandable. But there'll be some people, or a person or a couple of people, or even a group, that will really be able to boost your morale in those moments when you need it the most. So just make sure that you're mindful of them, because they really are like your soul tribe. And obviously with Uranus in your soul tribe, I feel like with this pile, with the first pile, it was very much sort of like there could be radical changes for better and for worse to do with their soul tribe. For this pile, I feel like it's just that there could just be like radical breakthroughs to do with you connecting with other people and other groups, which is, I'm hearing like incredibly fertile is the words that I'm hearing. A bit like when lightning strikes the ground, and I think it puts stuff like nitrates into the soil, and those nitrates are really powerful and useful for the trees and stuff. That lightning becomes incredibly nurturing to the earth. And I feel like any sudden epiphanies or changes that happen in your friendship connections will be of that same kind of ultimately nurturing source, and very, I suppose, inspiring, and I'm hearing like life force giving. which is really cool. And now I'm just getting a message, because I'm getting some of these random ones that just get channeled, and then we go into them in more detail. By the way, I know these are going to sound totally and utterly illogical and all the rest of it, but we just go with it. So I'm just getting this message here, and then we'll go into it in more detail. It says, look at the ants walking across the doorstep. That's got this tribal feel to it again, and this crusade feel to it again, so we will look into that in more detail as well. Right now, let's just pull some more cards. So let's just see. What do your Akashic Records want to tell you? Pile number 2. I'm wondering as well if maybe you guys, it would be useful to read up on the energy of Neptune and Poseidon and stuff like that, because I still think that was, that felt really quite radically out of nowhere to do with that channeled message we got. So I do really feel like there's something really important in that for you guys. Ooh, flipped out. Oh wow, your commitment is being tested. Now what we were just saying as well about here with the 4 of Cups and the 6 of Cups, if you do start to get despondent on your journey, which is totally understandable, like go to your soul tribe members for encouragement and support, because they will help you stay on track with whatever this commitment is. And for some of you, if it doesn't resonate that it's like a mission of any kind, it can just be a commitment to yourself to stick to something, which can be just as powerful and just as transformative and life-changing. You know, this could be something to do with breaking an old pattern, an old addictive pattern of some sort. That won't resonate with all of you, but it will just for some of you. So let's just get one of these, and then I've also just been called to get another sort of card that I didn't use on the other pile. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, nice. I love this one. These cards are gorgeous. These are some of the first decks that I ever got. This one in particular, I really, really loved it. And I still totally love it because it's like raw energies. This, I suppose it does feel something about this pile that is very kind of like raw energies coming in, like raw potent energies coming in, which is actually also flagging up to me Black Moon Lilith for some reason. Now, where is that in your chart? Let me have a think about it. Let me just have a quick look, because I feel like there's something also important about that. But this one is very about you spiraling all of your energies into your center, like you really focusing on almost like tunneling out a pathway for you into the future that you do want and you have desired. That's what I really, really see with that. But we should also get some more information on that to see exactly what you can do to do with that path. But just give me one quick second so I can have a look at Black Moon Lilith, see where that is in your chart. Oh, right, okay, oh wow. Yeah, of course, Black Moon Lilith is going to be in your 11th house for about half of the year, and then it's going to go into your 12th house. So I do really feel like, you know how I said there's this raw sort of energy coming out to do with you guys, and potent and powerful. So in the beginning of the year, Black Moon Lilith, which is very much about a raw, potent, powerful energy again, but it's often an energy that we repress, is going to be in that 11th house of connections and commitments and, communities and tribes and stuff like that. And because it's going to be so close to Uranus, which is the sudden breakthroughs, which also reminds me of this card here, the Star, I feel very early in the beginning of January, you could have an unexpected situation occur in your friendship group or in a community that you're interested in or invested in, or a community that you resonate with, which will be completely unexpected and quite shocking, but it's going to stimulate a real burning desire to support this person or this community in some type of way. Kind of getting that vibe a little bit. And I suppose what I just say is, if you're looking at this before that date, then obviously just stay open to what happens at that point, around about January time, early January, the first couple of weeks or so. If you are after that point, just check in and just see what was going off to do with, to do with communities and friendships. It could even be online communities, or it can just be communities that you really believe in and you're really connected to. There's something about that that's going to happen, or I feel like something will happen that will really stimulate that drive and that passion to be on a crusade for something. But you just need to make sure that that drive and that passion stimulates the crusade, which is your crusade, that it is your journey, and that you don't get unconsciously pulled into a different crusade and different journey, one that isn't of your highest potential. So that's quite specific, but that's what I'm getting with that. Okay, but we'll go into that in more detail anyway. Then we get here the Infinite. That is a beautiful card. Wow, that is really about you channeling some energy, but we'll also go into that in the extended. Then we have here, I consume only my fair share. That is really interesting, because that was what we were channeling about the win-win situation. This situation that's going to come up that's almost a bit like a poker game. It's almost a bit like a sort of a legal matter of some kind, or it's where there's two parties and a third party is coming in. Because I can see that here, two parties with a third party coming in to kind of, I'm hearing restore order to the situation, and I'm also hearing restore karmic balance, and I'm also hearing that whatever this situation is, and for example, the poker game and the court case, the legal thing, that's a metaphor, okay? I mean, for some of you that might be the case, but I'm really just channeling like the energy in a metaphor so you can kind of get the principle of what it's about. I always just like to clarify that, just so that people know, it's not like I'm seeing that as their future. I feel like as well, this is going to do something where it is restoring balance to some kind of karmic pattern, karmic cycle, karmic contract that you have to do with a part of your consciousness, which is just then getting played out in this certain storyline in reality in some way. And I really feel like whatever it is, it will work out well for you, because this doesn't feel like it's about destruction. Like, I consume only my fair share. We've already talked about win-win. We feel like there's lots of supportive tribal energy around you. This is more like just to put an old pattern to bed. And also, like I channeled in the very beginning, about karmic contracts coming into review. When I did the first bit before you picked the cards 1, 2 or 3, or the piles 1, 2 or 3, I did that. I could really feel this energy, and that is kind of what this is reminding me of. So this really could just be an example of just karma needing to get balanced out. But this isn't karma coming in a punishing way. This is karma coming in a real balancing way. And I just want to be really clear about that. But we will go into that in more detail in the extended. Oh wow, then we have electricity. So this is totally something more about Uranus. So we'll also find out a bit more about what Uranus wants to tell you in that extended reading. I'm just hearing one more thing. This sounds ridiculous. I don't know how we will make any sense of this, but I am hearing trust the postman. So I've got no idea what that is, but we'll go into that. So I hope that's been useful for you so far. Like I say, we'll channel this crystal to get more information. We'll go a bit more into what this sort of like karmic situation is and how it might play out, how you can connect better to the universe, what's going on with your pathway, and really what Uranus wants to tell you about something sudden, something suddenly occurring in some way. And then we'll look at both of these, what it means by trust the postman, and look at the ants walking across the doorstep. We will also then finish off with a message from the I Ching. So I'll pull a card from the I Ching, and then I'm just going to read it out of the book, so that you can just take your own perspective on it and whatever is going on. But thank you so far. That was awesome. That was really interesting. I totally didn't think we'd get something channeled like, from Poseidon or anything like that. I do just want to tell you though, this is the magic of the Akashic Records. Like, the Akashic Records is incredible because, I mean, it's impossible to even describe what it is, but it holds everything said and not said, everything done and not done. It holds things from every type of consciousness possible. It is almost like this incredible resource of all of the different frequencies and people and situations that ever have existed or even not existed from more than just this reality. And you can also do crazy, like, really good healing sessions within your Akashic Records, because it's almost like they're not just books of resources of information, and they're not just energies where you can channel in what they want to tell you, but there's also like rooms that you can go in and you can receive certain healings, or you can receive certain insights by going into that room and also manifesting. It's amazing. It's fully amazing. I think I've not said that to anybody before. I think the reason why I'm saying that is because it's something to do with the star card and the infinite. So we'll definitely check that out in the extended too. So I'd love it if you join me over there. I think it would be lots of fun, definitely with everything that's come up. If not though, I feel like this will be an exciting year for you. And yeah, just focus on... Oh, okay, I'm hearing this again. Destiny is all. I don't know if you ever watched, I can't think what it is. It's some sort of Viking Netflix thing. And they always say this thing about destiny is all. And that's what I'm really hearing about this with this pile too. So stay on track, stay focused, stay in your lane, I'm hearing. So yeah, I hope that was useful, and I hope to see you soon. If not, you can follow me on, or regardless, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm at Abigail Grace Psychic. You can also get this extended reading and other products and readings and things like that on my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. And I also have this other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic. Like I say, I feel like watching the video of the highest potential of the Aquarius archetype will be really useful, particularly with this card here as well, electricity. And Uranus is known to rule electricity, and Uranus basically rules Aquarius. Or Aquarius rules Uranus, however way you want to say it. So hopefully see you soon. Bye. So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon. Hi there, Cancer. So this is for everybody that chose message number 3 for what your Akashic Records want to tell you about 2021. So we will go into the crystal in the extended reading for additional guidance it wants to give us. But for now, so we'll put it to the side, we'll go into this stone from my Shamanic Meze, which actually is a crystal. It's one of I think I only ever had 2 crystals in my Shamanic Meze, and this is one of them. So yeah, interesting that you chose this. So let's just have a feel. What do your Akashic Records want to tell you? I'm hearing like the Sundance Kid, something like that film, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I have honestly never even seen it, so I really don't know what that's about. But that's the first thing that's coming through. And I'm seeing like a vision of some Native American Indians kind of like I think like doing like a sun dance, sort of like worshipping the sun, like dancing in a circle, but really like liberating themselves with the dance and really, really getting into all of the movements and really feeling into it. Okay, so now as well, like I'm really seeing that my guides are saying that that was really a metaphor for you expressing who you truly are to yourself by moving away from kind of like some habits and routines that you've got which just aren't healthy for you anymore. And I'm really seeing that that is going to really vitalize you and give you so much energy. And I think you all need to obviously intuitively feel into what that all means for you individually, because it'll be different obviously for different people. What else are we getting? I'm seeing like a grasshopper jumping. And then I'm seeing the grasshopper turning into a cricket. So interestingly, and by the way, it's not like I intuitively feel like travel is going to take a bit of a while to get back to the norm, for sure. Obviously, I mean, I just don't think you have to be psychic for that one, right? That's just realistic. But I'm sort of getting the feeling there's something about this pile where it feels like there's a bit of... You're either going to be travelling, because it feels like, first of all, you were somewhere where crickets are, and then it's almost like you went somewhere else where there were more... first where there were grasshoppers, and then you sort of went off to another country where then there were crickets. And it's almost like you're following the sun, is what I was seeing as well. But also what my guides are saying with that is, well, yeah, for sure, that's going to happen for some people. But also for the big group of people, again, this is like a metaphoric thing. And it's just sort of saying that it is really... It's about you moving on from situations and scenarios that basically felt cold and that essentially really weren't feeding you, weren't feeding your soul, weren't feeding what you wanted. Like, I just feel like there was lots of dissatisfaction going on, and that actually you're going to be moving into, if you choose to, because it is a choice, you're going to be moving into much more... I'm hearing like favourable conditions, but I am also hearing it's not going to be like an instantaneous thing. Like, it is going to be a process, it is going to be a journey. But I'm getting as well that it's really important that this doesn't happen like instantaneously and all in one go, because it's really kind of... You know, whatever is going to be happening in 2021 is really helping to kind of like, not like condense, but sort of like crystallize how confident you feel about yourself and in your life. And I'm hearing as well, it's really important for you to be expressing what your needs are, first of all to yourself though. And then it's about expressing those needs to other people. And I'm hearing as well, if people are not able to respect or honour your needs, or at least appreciate them, then this is something for you to consider. And that's not just something to brush over, it's something for you to actually consider and feel into the deeper dynamics about what it means when somebody cannot respect your needs or honour what's important to you in some way. I do just really feel as well with this pile, it's very much there's very much a focus on you working through patterns of where you have felt isolated and disconnected. But first of all, it's more like an isolation and a disconnection from yourself. That's where you're first of all, or where you have been working on this, or where you will be working on this. And then life is just going to bring in people and situations and scenarios so that you can further work with that, but then in a more dynamic, interactive way. So it's not just you working with your unconscious in that kind of way. It's then situations and people and scenarios will come up so that you can put your newfound insights and awarenesses into tangible, practical actions. But I'm definitely really feeling like there is this thing, like intuitively feel into yourself now. I can really, really feel that there's some sort of daily habit or daily routine, or just like this habit or routine that you have in your life, which you do know now is no longer healthy for you. For some of you, it might never have been healthy for you, but for some of you, this habit or routine may have been healthy for you at one point, but now because you've evolved and you've expanded, it's now no longer healthy for you. And that's something for you to look at releasing if that's what you want. This could also even just be like a daily mindset that you have that maybe was helpful for you at one time because it was protective and it kept you safe in some way. But now that you're opening up and expanding more, it's actually keeping you restricted. And I'm hearing that when you feel restricted on a day-to-day level, that can sometimes lead to some self-sabotaging behaviours because you find it really hard to be restricted on a day-to-day level. So there's something that's very expansive about you changing whatever is this daily mindset that you have, that you know that I'm referring to because it'll be different to all of you, or changing that routine or that lifestyle or whatever it might be. And like I say, it's going to be really, really different for all of you, but there's something really powerful about that, because when you decide to change that, you'll get some sort of transformation to do with your one-on-one connections. So whether that's a romantic partnership, if it's a friendship, if it's a work colleague, if it's a business partnership, I don't know what it will be, but somehow it will almost have, because with this energy of, we've got this big transit that's affecting everybody for 2021, which is Uranus square Saturn. And sometimes one of the things that this can do, and it's flagging up to do with this scenario, is you have a transformation in one area of your life or a breakthrough, but that actually causes a rebirth or a transformation in another part of your life. So although you have like the mental breakthrough or whatever in one part of life, you actually get a physical transformation and rebirth in a seemingly different area of your life that's unconnected. And I'm really seeing that over the 2021, if you're constantly changing whatever is this mindset that you have on a daily level, which is not helpful for you anymore, not healthy for you anymore, is the words I'm hearing. I'm definitely hearing the words not healthy for you anymore, or routine or lifestyle. The knock-on effect is that it's somehow going to change your one-on-one relationships in a really positive way. And it's something about you having more compassion for yourself, which means another will have more compassion for you. Or if it's not compassion, it's you having more respect for yourself, which means that another has more respect for you. And then because of how that person then interacts with you, it also changes how you see yourself in the world. You change slightly how you view the world as well. Like you'll either your view of the world will become more compassionate, or your view of the world will somehow become more respectful. That's really, really interesting, but that's totally what I'm getting. So now let's just go into the cards and see what we get. Okay. Let's see. Just feel like let's split it, see what we get. Okay, so we get the Strength card and the Hangman. I'm not going to read those in reversed. So this is definitely change of perception And this actually makes me think it is really about compassion. I know Cancer, you're naturally a really compassionate archetype, but I'm actually wondering if there is something that you've been doing, either saying to yourself on a daily basis or doing to yourself on a daily basis, which actually hasn't been very compassionate. And that's definitely something that 2021 is going to encourage you to, I'm hearing like step aside from. And actually, you know, the crab can move sideways. So it's not like you have to radically and dramatically cut it out. It's just that you have to sidestep it. So it's actually not really a big deal. But for some reason, the knock-on effect is going to be, I'm hearing, quite monumental in a way that you wouldn't imagine. And you probably wouldn't make this as a link with it. Had I not said, oh, you'll do something there, it would change something on a one-to-one relationship type of dynamic, which would then also change how you view yourself and how you view the world. But I think as it plays out during the year, or wherever you are listening to this video, it will make sense. So let's see. Oh, interesting. I've been given all quite different spreads to do for each reading, each pile. For some reason, we look at the bottom of the deck. Oh, wow, nice. Okay, so starting with the bottom of the deck, what a great card to come through. So this is obviously Six of Wands. So whatever is going on for you for 2021, it's going to give you success. And I'm hearing it's going to be success on like on a daily level and also on a consistent level. But it does require this sort of letting go of something that really isn't in alignment with your success. And I do feel this is something that you're doing, you're either telling yourself mentally or you're doing on a day-to-day level. My guys are saying 50% of you, this is a psychological thing that you're telling yourself on a daily level, and 50% of you, this is more like an actual physical routine or lifestyle or something that you're doing on a daily level. So we do read reversals. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so it's consistent direction towards something. So we have the Artist in reversed. Okay, so feeling a little bit stuck sometimes for going after what it is that you want. Or maybe it's not stuck. Maybe it's just a case of there's a bit of confusion around what it is that you really want. That's it. There's a bit of confusion around what it is that you really want, particularly with Neptune being in your 9th house. Neptune can be about illusions and confusing, and that's in your belief systems. And to create your reality or to create what you want, it's really useful to have a really strong belief system. And that's really very much like a Sagittarius archetype. So if you feel called to, check out my video about the highest potential of the Sagittarius archetype on my See It Like a Psychic YouTube channel. That will give you a concept about belief systems and where that might be tripping you up in some way. I'm also hearing as well, for a lot of you, if you're Cancer rising, a lot of you will have Sagittarius in your 6th house. So Sagittarius again rules that thing about belief systems. And again, this pulls me back to what I was saying here, that you're doing something on a daily level, or you're telling you something in your mindset on a daily routine that is no longer helpful for you. Because 6th house is very much about day-to-day routines. It's also what keeps us healthy or what doesn't. So I know there's definitely something going off there. So then we have the Justice. So many, I think almost all of Cancer readings have had the Justice card come in, and quite a few of the other readings have done as well soon. So, I mean, I know that the karmic cycles are changing for us as a humanity, because we're coming out of an earth cycle for like 200 years, a 200-year earth cycle, and we're going into a 200-year air cycle. We're also starting a new 20-year air cycle with the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction at the end of December of 2020 in Aquarius. So there's lots of things that are like coming to a culmination and like a shifting of the guard, which obviously makes a lot of sense of what happened in 2020. Okay, 6 of Pentacles. So this is my give, receive, grow. I really like as well that we've got 2 6s here. That's really collaborative. And there has been a big theme for you guys, Cancer, about collaboration and no longer doing things alone. This is also emphasised by other things in your astrology. Then we have Knight of Cups. Okay, so that can mean a few things. Let's just see what we get here. Oh wow, and King of Wands. So this also really makes me feel as well, in 2021, you're going to be, And this is a little bit, I think it was like power 2, but on some level you're going to be taking some really decisive action to do with what it is that you want. And I think you're going to start to get very, very clear about what it is that you want. Really, really clear. And particularly with Uranus in that 11th house, which is to do with connection, it's to do with friendships, it's to do with tribes, it's to do with communities, it's to do with like-minded people, but it's also to do with goals and dreams. But I do feel like whenever you're watching this video, you might be in a little bit of conflict to do with what it is that you really want as a long-term plan, or it might be that you're currently working on that, or it could be that you're a little bit confused about that. But I do see that there will be insight coming in to do with that will give you more clarity. There definitely will be, actually, with that, with the 6 of Wands as well. There'll be way more clarity coming in to do with that. And this is also really interesting. If we look at both of these 2 cards, I don't know if you can see, but they're both holding some kind of scales, and they're both underneath each other. Just give me 1 minute. Just let me just channel into that, because my guys are trying to say something. It's a bit more complex. 1 sec. Okay, I'm hearing a few things. One thing, and you work with this and how it makes sense to you or not, and see how it relates to you. So there is a group of people here that within this pile where they have been confused about what it is that they want, or they know what they want, but they're confused about how to create it. And this has caused a bit of stagnation, and it's caused almost like it's a regression, but not that you're going backwards, but more that you're looking into the past for answers. But actually, I'm hearing that the only way that you can resolve this confusion is actually you've got to look into the future. So for some of you, and this is the metaphor as well, if you're confused about something, particularly about friendships, communities, where your soul fits in life, what your hopes and dreams are, what your wishes are, what your plans are for the future, if any of that you're a bit confused, I do know this, at the time of you looking at this reading, you're looking in the wrong direction, because you're looking in the past in some way, and the answers to this is by you looking into the future. Because it's so interesting. Look, we have a knight on this side looking backwards, and a knight on this side looking forwards. So I'm also hearing as well, like, the way for you to get this understanding about what it is that you really want is you have to go a bit more into your feelings. What makes you feel emotionally fulfilled? I feel like this is such a big question anyway for anybody looking for a direction in life. And definitely when it comes to those higher callings of like purpose and passion and things like that. And bearing in mind, sort of like at some points in 2022, 2023, etc., you will find that, actually I'll have to check it out, but in the next few years at some points anyway, you will find that Saturn will go into your 10th house, and 10th house is about career, highest potential, your calling, your life purpose, what you're here to contribute with the world in a meaningful way. So I feel like some of you that are really sensitive and in tune, you will start to feel this kind of desire to know what that is, or if you know what this is, you'll start to feel the need to take more action towards whatever you feel or know that is. And I can feel this really quite strongly. So your Akashic Records are really wanting you to know that it is really, really important that you start to look to your future. And your Akashic Records are saying that your future is really moving in the direction of everything 10th house related, which is everything to do with career, status, responsibility, what you take responsibility for so that others can benefit from you taking responsibility, life purpose, life calling. It's all that sort of energy. And I can really feel, and even if you're not aware of this, as of listening to this reading, I really, really feel this is something that's going to start to come more and more into your consciousness, because it's getting you prepared for when Saturn does go through your 10th house. And obviously Jupiter will start to go through that 10th house. Let me just have a look. Well, Jupiter will start to go into that 10th house for a very short period in 2021. It will actually, because Jupiter, your 10th house is in Pisces, and Jupiter goes into Pisces on the 14th of May to the 27th of July. So actually there'll be this small period, May, June, July, when I feel like this energy, for those of you that are sensitive and really in tune, and I really feel like all of you are that have chosen this pile, you'll start to have this little bit of a, I don't know, it's like you'll start to feel there's a call to adventure coming. There's a call coming. There's like a restlessness with something. There's a slight dissatisfaction with something to do with life purpose, career, reputation, what you do in the outside world, that you like, all those things that we just talked about. There'll start to be some sort of restlessness to do with it. And when that occurs, I just want you to know the answer is looking into the future. And it's looking into the future and asking yourself, what makes me feel emotionally fulfilled? It is not about looking into your past for that answer, because I'm hearing that most of you won't find it by looking there. And actually, it won't allow you to take advantage of the energy that's currently going around for everybody globally with Uranus and Aquarius. There's great opportunities for you to have real sudden downloads, particularly because you have, like I say, you have Uranus that rules Aquarius, this maverick energy, this forward-thinking energy in your 11th house. And the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius. It's ruled by this energy. So I just feel like there's a great opportunity for you guys in 2021 to really get sudden insights and downloads to do with the future that's coming for you. It's almost like you guys are going to be really... I trust things that feel like premonitions. I'd really, really trust that, because I kind of feel like, I don't know why, but these two scales here and here, and this is so weird, but I read things intuitively. My guys are just pointing at, this is you guys understanding sort of like the time beyond time. And what they're saying that is it's just like understanding the divine timing of things, understanding when things are coming, but in a very kind of fated premonition type of way. Like the other parts all had something about intuition, but it was different. Yours is categorically very different, because it's very much about premonitions of the future, and definitely to do with your calling, why you are here on earth, and also your soul tribe, and collaborating somehow with soul tribe to also get in alignment with your life purpose, or your life purpose is something about collaborating with a soul tribe. It's different for different ones of you, right? So you just have to feel into what that is. And I did think it was really interesting, the fact that my guys told me to use these two crystals, or like I say, this is the stone from my shamanic mosaic, but it happens to be a crystal. And I had planned never to use any of those when I did any of this, but they were like, no, it's that one and it's that one. And I did kind of feel like this felt, I don't know, it just felt very different. I suppose it felt like the energy of, you know, kids that are, say, like Indio kids or rainbow kids or whatever they're called, you know, just when you know there's a young soul, but you just feel there is so much depth to them, and they just know. I mean, to be fair, I think all kids are like this, if I'm honest with you. Definitely ones that are all being born now and anyway for quite a while. But you kind of got this real kind of, I suppose, magical abilities feel to you. But like this magical ability isn't really something that you have at this point fully invested in. I hope that resonates and makes some sense for you at some point. But I'm also really getting drawn as well to this chameleon here. And I always think of chameleons as like they are really, really changeable. And that reminds me of like a Gemini type of energy. And it does make me think there's something about how you communicate to yourself, that if you look at doing things to communicate to yourself in a very different way to what you've ever done in the past, right? Because I'm thinking of that as the past and this is your future. I don't know, and it's also about you communicating very differently about how you feel about things and your emotions. So if you are a Cancer energy that tends to repress your emotions, then I really think it's about expressing your emotions. And if you're a Cancer energy that tends to be really expressive with your emotions, then I feel it's about you expressing your emotions in a less emotive way while still communicating everything that you need to say. And I feel there's something about that once again, it's almost like it's going to rewire a deep part of your own psychology, almost without you realizing, because it will happen subtly over 2021 or whenever you're listening to this video. And again, that will do that whole thing of what we pointed out first of all with this crystal here, that it will change how people interact with you on a one-to-one level, and definitely people that you have more of a collaborative partnership with, let's say, on whatever level that is, friendship, relationship, work, business, community, whatever it is. And that in turn will mean that you start to see the world through different eyes again. And I feel like you'll start to see the world as way more accepting of you and all of you, and way more nurturing to do with you. And this is just going to keep having a knock-on effect. Like, I just keep seeing this energy sort of like ping pong from different parts in your chart, but it's all feeding into each other, and it's just going to build momentum. So I see that if you do that thing about, if there's a bit of a mindset that you need to change your psychology on, or something in your daily routines, if you do that on top of changing how you communicate about your emotions, you do the opposite of what you would usually do, but you do the opposite in a very harmonized, grounded, thoughtful way. That's it. It's communicating whatever you want to, but doing it in a thoughtful way, as the words that I'm kind of getting. And you're doing it in a thoughtful way, not just with what you're saying, but in a thoughtful way to the person that is receiving it. So it almost feels like you're considering them with what you're saying, while still saying absolutely everything that you need to say about how you're feeling. And this will be different for different people, so I can't go into specifics, but I just know that that's the vibe. But if you do those two separate things, it's going to massively transform your one-on-one partnerships, and therefore really change the way that you look at life and the way that you look at yourself, which will be incredibly nurturing and incredibly powerful. That feels really good. That feels really, really good. And I'm just getting a random message coming through, because obviously we look at these channeled ones in the extended reading. Sometimes they sound so funny, but we go into it and find out what it means on a deeper level. So it says here, the wings are in your ears. I have no idea what that means, but obviously we'll go into that when we go into the extended. Just seeing here. Also, I just want to reinforce this as well. I kind of feel like this is a really important message, this bottom one here, and it's sort of a little similar. I think it came out for pile number 2 as well, and it's a similar sort of message, but in a different way. I really feel like you have a choice in 2021 to either do things alone, particularly to do with, I'm not talking about romantic relationships with this, although obviously some of you may feel that as well, but this is really feeling like you're either choosing to do things alone to do with somehow like work, job, creative project, your highest potential. There's either the choice to carry on doing things alone, or there's a choice to kind of somehow bring more people into what you're doing, be more collaborative. But if you bring more people in, in some ways you'll have to take more responsibility, even if that is just on that psychological level of you'll have to go into the spaces of shared resources, because you'll be coming together to collaborate in some type of way. So whether you have a business, obviously it might be time to expand, or that's something to consider, or if you have a business idea or a creative project, it might be something where I feel like you're going to get way more movement if you choose to collaborate with others. But also in choosing to collaborate with others, I do appreciate that you're going into that space of sharing your resources with another. And I do also appreciate that recently, and you know, in like half of 2020 and obviously through 2021, you know, there is potent, powerful energy there. So you need to feel confident that that is really what you want to do, because obviously that's where Saturn and Jupiter are. But depending when you watch this video, there, if you watch it before 2020, around about the 19th of December, for around about, I think a week maybe, Saturn conjuncts Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius, that forward, maverick thinking, genius, rebel kind of energy. And it forms a conjunction, which is a really powerful energy, and it's very much in a 20-year cycle. So if you feel confident, it could be very beneficial for you to look at partnerships in some level, or sharing your resources in some way. That can be anyway. So when I say sharing your resources, see what intuitively pops up for you, because it will be different for all of you. And that's definitely an opportunity there. At the very least, what I would say, it's really good to have a mindset of being open to collaboration, because I feel like it can set the tone well for 2021. If you're watching this after the end of December 2020, I feel like see what the universe, see if you can remember what happened round about, let's say the middle of December. I'm actually hearing the end of January. Now that's not the exact conjunction all of that time, but my guides are saying stuff will play out. Stuff will have played out during that time period to do with sharing your resources in some way, sharing your energy, sharing resources, anything, right? Just, I don't want to be too specific on that because it's different for different people. And whatever was shown to you then, there's something really important for you to be considering now as you're listening to this reading. I do also just want to say that because of just how this spread has come out, obviously I saw this energy is looking into the past, which didn't hold the answers. And I do really kind of feel like with the artist being underneath it as well, that is very much pointing, this is all in the past, and this isn't as opportunistic as this, which I felt was the future. And obviously the King of Wands. Now the King of Wands is a really, really, of all of the kings, I think he is the most entrepreneurial by far. So I feel like that could be potentially a good sign for some of you. Obviously, because I'm channeling for so many people, you just have to truly just feel into that yourself, and you must listen and trust your own guidance on that, because I'm only just channeling like a global energy. But I do feel there's really good things available for you with collaborating. But equally, I do want to say, just especially with the Cancer archetype, like, only ever do what feels safe to you. Like, it's really important that you feel safe and you feel comfortable with whatever you're doing, and you feel emotionally connected to yourself. So if anything that I'm saying or this makes you feel emotionally disconnected, or it doesn't make you feel safe, then you must honor your feelings and your body and just go with what makes you feel safe. I don't know why I needed to say that, but clearly I definitely needed to say that for some of you, and I do really, really feel that as well. Like, it's really, really important, because if something is meant to be for you, it will be for you regardless. You don't, definitely Cancer type archetypes, you don't need to force a single thing. In fact, you can't force anything, because you're driven by a cycle bigger than you. You're driven by the moon, you're driven by the tides. But also, because you're driven by a cycle outside of you, that cycle is so predictable. And I think that's also what makes you guys maybe incredibly good. And I don't know why I'm pulling up this card, but I am incredibly good at like predicting the future. And I do really feel like that's almost like a hidden superpower that you guys have. And I feel like it's probably going to be incredibly helpful for you in 2021, or whenever you're listening to this video to do with 2021. And once again, I think it's about you honouring that part within you. It doesn't mean you have to take actions off anything that you see as a prediction, because to begin with, it might, again, I'm coming back to this safe thing. I'm getting that it's really important that you only take actions when you feel safe and you feel emotionally connected to yourself, the person, or the situation. I don't know why, but that's coming across as really quite important. Yeah, so sometimes, a bit like the owl and the woman here, I feel like justice does see everything. That's why it's the justice card, right? And sees everything clearly as it is, without bias, basically. And I think the way for you to, and the owl is really wise as well. And I feel like the way for you to work with understanding what your timings are in life, what your rhythm is in life, and where you're at with predicting your life or just life in general, is to definitely observe it and be very clinical about how accurate these predictions are, and get really accurate about the cycles and rhythms that you're in. And then once you are very clear on that, and I would be very clinical about it, so that then it can build your confidence, so that you can feel confident enough to use it in your life. And you know what my guides are saying to me? We wish you did that, and they're saying that to me. Sometimes I can have a gung-ho approach with stuff, and it's not always ideal, but I can't help it. It's like a Sagittarius vibe of me. But this, yeah, I can really, really feel this, and I really feel that'd be really, really helpful for you. And again, I just keep seeing your first house lighting up in astrology. So how you view yourself and how you view the world is going to be as well changing through everything we've just talked about here, about prediction cycles and rhythms, and just getting very clinical about where you're at to do with that, is the word that I'm getting. That's really interesting. Wait a second, I get another message. This one's even more random. Okay, so I'm getting with this message. The rainbows are with the goats. Yeah, I know, my guys have got a sense of humour, and it appears that so have your Akashic Records. But anyway, we'll go into that in the extended. Let me just pull a few more cards now so we can get a bit more information. Right, so what does Pile 3's Akashic Records want them to know about 2020? I'm actually getting 2 moon cards there. About 2021, sorry. Wow. Okay, we'll take both. They've flipped out. And then... yeah, we'll leave it. That feels right. Okay, let's see what we get. Not reversals, any of them. So the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. Interesting. I think Pile 2 also had that. So clearly there is a lot of movement and change coming for the Cancer archetype. This just also makes me again think about premonitions and about you focusing on the future, and about you knowing or feeling this energy coming, about you focusing more on what is your purpose in life, why you're here, that kind of thing. And we get surrendered to the divine, full moon. Now I can imagine that a lot of you Cancer archetype Cancer archetypes are really sensitive to full moon energy. But I'm hearing that you can really use that sensitivity to your advantage. And definitely to do with like feeling into your future and feeling into what is coming. But it's really important that you're not emotionally overwhelmed at full moons for you to be able to use this energy in that kind of, let's say, productive, grounded way. So if sometimes you feel particularly emotional at a full moon, that's just something for you to be mindful of. And you probably already are, to be honest, because you're probably already really aware of those sensitivities. Maybe that one went there. Okay, so then we have fire, ignition. Oh, wow. So as well as gaining momentum, I do feel life is going to be pulling you in a certain direction in 2021, and it is just a case of you surrendering with it, because the momentum's gaining and you just need to go with it, and it's very much about trust in some level. Wow, air paradigm shift. So this paradigm shift is another way of saying this conjunction that we're having at the end of 2020, creating this new 20-year cycle and then another 200-year cycle, all in air, and you've got air here. So I feel like this energy really wants to work with you, and I do really feel like it's going to come through in some really intuitive ways. So it's about being open to it, and I feel like it's about being alert to it. And once again, I really feel when you, Cancer, are in tune with the universe and with your own soul, I can see that you'll have what I have, where I will get premonitions and I will get guidance from my guides, sometimes years and often months before I have to take any action. And it's great because it actually allows me to come to terms with whatever they might be telling me. Maybe it's about taking action to do with a block and I'm like, there's no way. But they tell me when's a good date, and by the time that date comes, I've had long enough to work it through my unconscious mind, sometimes without me even trying. It's just kind of happening. And I can see that that's something that's going to be happening for you guys as well. So I really feel like you probably will intuitively get insights of things coming way before they come, because then it gives you time to fully adjust to that new reality before it even comes towards you. And that way you still feel safe. You feel safe the entire time. And I do think feeling safe and nurtured by life is really important for you guys to thrive. To be honest, I think it's probably quite important for all humans, but definitely you guys, because you do have this amazing sensitivity, which I do really feel with this full moon card. And it's a really beautiful quality. It's a really beautiful quality and characteristic. Okay, and then we have crown chakra, the unlimited self. So again, this to me is more about intuitive messages and things like that, which is really cool. But anyway, what we'll do is we'll go into the extended reading. We'll channel this to see what additional insight we've got. And this has been winking at me the entire time that I've been doing this reading. So I don't know what's going to come out of this, but I feel like it will be very relevant. Then we'll go into both of these. The wings are in your ears and the rainbows are with the goats, whatever that means. And we'll see if anything more wants to come out about this paradigm shift that you're going through, and also really about the divine pushing you in or encouraging you to go into a certain direction. We'll see what comes out with all of that. And then we will also get a message from the I Ching channel specifically for you that you can just listen to, and I'll read it out of the book. So I will see you soon. But also that's everything that I wanted to say for this. Perfect. So you can also find me on Instagram and Facebook on Abigail Grace Psychic. I'll leave links for that. If you would like this reading, other readings, other products, I have my website, abigailgracepsychic.com, which you can find things there. I also have my other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic. So there's lots of different videos and things on there. And I feel like I recommended a video for you to look at, but I can't remember now. You'll remember if it was in there, and then you can find it on that channel. And other than that, it was great to read for you, and hopefully I'll see you in the extended. Bye! So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for so that you can get the most out of it. just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings, so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon.